Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Friday, Thursday, August 31st, last day of August. We're over here at Polderbaan. A little bit showery weather, but I think the majority of the showers this morning will pass north of me, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. We have 14 knot wind blowing from mostly westerly direction, 13 knots, 260 degrees, you can see it in the METAR, so quite a significant crosswind component. The expected runway usage is Polderbaan for landing throughout the first half of the day, so we should be good over here, provided it stays dry. Coming in next is our first airplane, which is an A350 from Finnair, arriving from Helsinki. With a flight time of 2 hours and 3 minutes. This airplane is 4 years old, first flight January 2019. Finnair flight 1301. Had a look at flight radar just now. There are 3 747s expected before the arrival of the A380 of Emirates, which is expected to arrive around 1:30 p.m. Weather permitting, I'm going to stick around until then, which means at least 3 747s are coming to Schiphol. Not sure if they're all going to land on this runway. At the moment, Polderbaan is the only runway used for arrivals, but earlier runway 27 was also being used. Might also be the case that if inbound traffic picks up, they open up the center runway for arrivals. We'll have to see. Now also expected in an hour and 45 minutes is the A321 Neo from Jet Blue, inbound from New York JFK. When I looked at flight radar just now, it was still west of the British Islands. Had an expected arrival time of an hour and 45 minutes or so. In the meantime, a little bit less, of course. A lot of people are already in the chat. Koenie, goedemorgen, good morning. JD, good morning. Jean-Yves, salut mon ami, good morning. Sak, good morning. Rowenda, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Hans, goedemorgen. May the flaps be with you. Absolutely, bro. Peter, goedemorgen and goodbye. Have to go to work. Enjoy the stream. Gosse, goedemorgen kerel. Jackie, goedemorgen, good morning. Mr. Meister, good morning mate. Hope you're doing well up there in the north of the country. Lotte, goedemorgen. Eversteria, good morning. Loco, good morning. Erin, good morning, goedemorgen. Jordan, good morning, goedemorgen. Mr. Banana, Loco, goedemorgen, good morning. Arnoud, goedemorgen. Nigel, good morning, mate. Blackbirds, good morning. Camille, salut mon ami. Doing well, thank you for asking. It is a bit chilly, so first time that I'm back in my parka, although just wearing a t-shirt under it. But I figured if it was going to rain and also it's going to be windy, better be prepared. Erin, goedemorgen. Mario, guten Morgen. 086 Ronaldo, morgen. Patrick, goedemorgen. Chris, good morning. Nart, goedemorgen. Malcolm, good morning, mate. So many people already active on this early morning. Welcome one and all. Let me enable split screen so that I can have a look at both flight radar and the chat simultaneously. I think I have caught up with the chat. There we go. Right, so let's have a look. An A320 Neo from SAS arriving from Oslo should be somewhere up north. I think I already saw a few lights. The backdrop isn't helping, maybe a little bit more. There we go. Really tiny. Ronnie, good morning. Jillard, goedemorgen. Ooh, and Jillard is also informing us that the KLM Orange Pride will land around 12:10, coming in from Panama City. Good to know. Also a lovely airplane. Eddie, goedemorgen. Eddie asks, do I know from which runway China Eastern will depart to Shanghai on Saturday? Well, that very much depends on the wind. They can use Kaagbaan. If they also use Aalsmeerbaan simultaneously with Kaagbaan, then it is likelier that they are going to use the Aalsmeerbaan because it will be a southern departure, which makes the turn to the east smaller than when they take off from runway 24. If the wind is blowing from the north, then it might be Polderbaan that they depart from, or maybe the center runway. So it very much depends on the wind. And also whether or not there's one runway open for departures or not. If there are two open, the one most oriented to the east will be the most likely runway to use then. Peter, goedemorgen, tuning in from Almere. How's your day going, he asks. Well, so far it has been going well. The sun is out. There is a vehicle standing here, was already standing here with the lights on as I was walking up here. Don't know why. Don't know what they're doing. We have some good activity over here in the water. Overall, lovely cloudy skies again. This is what it looks like to the east. Bit more open, shower to the south, southeast. This is looking to the south, this is looking to the southwest, and this is looking to the west. Rain showers in the northern half of the country expected for at least the morning and perhaps also the early afternoon. I think we might be good. The majority will probably pass by more northerly. A320 Neo from SAS arriving from Oslo, flight 821, landing after an hour and 24 minutes of flight time. Hey Belinda, goedemorgen. Alles goed? Rick is informing us that the Dreamliner 10 in the KLM 100 years livery is also expected. Good morning John Vogel and Ian, good morning, goedemorgen. Tuning in from Haarlem, that is indeed not too far away from over here. If you scream loudly, the wind is coming from the direction of Haarlem as well. If you scream loudly, I will probably hear you. Hey there, Mrs. Professor. Good morning to you too. It is a lovely cloudy sky again with the showers in the vicinity. Although when you are caught in the middle of it, it isn't so much fun. Did have a few droplets as I was setting up, but it was just a few droplets. Hope it's going to stay that way for the next couple of hours. But this is beautiful to see, isn't it? You can see the light passing through the clouds, providing some light and dark columns. The cloud beautifully illuminated from behind by the sun. There's almost never a shortage of beautiful cloudy skies over here in the Netherlands. That is the silver lining. We also have plenty of rain to go with it. Up next, Boeing 737-900 arriving from Tel Aviv, El Al flight 337. Hey lieve, goedemorgen deze morgen. Anne, goedemorgen. Marius, goedemorgen. All right. A second car just turned over here, which you probably heard. Not sure what they are going to do over here, but they are definitely up to something. Let's have a look. The next airplane to arrive is... Oh, it is a Dreamliner from Turkish, flight 1951. And instead of an A330, this time around it is a 7879. Interesting to see. Turkish flight 1951 arriving from Istanbul. Flight time right now 2 hours 51 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. First flight was in July 2020. Interesting. The next airplane behind it is also becoming visible, which is KLM flight 644, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner in the KLM 100 years livery, arriving from New York JFK. En goedemorgen Paula. René, goedemorgen, good morning. And all other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, good morning to you too. Hope everybody is doing well. Guten Morgen Jörg, herzlich willkommen. Checking in from the south of Germany. Jara, goedemorgen. Sponge says there is a 747 taking off from runway 18 left now. Let's have a look. I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay, still taxiing, okay. Was already having a look on flight radar. Was already afraid I wasn't seeing it, but it was still taxiing. Okay, well in that case let's quickly turn over to the arrival of KLM flight 644 in the KLM 100 years livery. This is a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner that is arriving from New York JFK. This airplane is underway now for nearly 6 hours, 5 hours and 57 minutes. She is 4 years old. Her first flight was in June 2019. GCL streams, good morning mate. Hope all is well. Yes Rick. I did see Max depart on Monday. Pretty sure he took an EasyJet A319. All that news of that black and orange Falcon is just fake news, I'm sure of it. Lies spread by the mainstream media. You always have to stay critical. Alright, now at the threshold of 18 left, yeah, 18 left, I was double checking if I'm saying the right runway number, but 18 left, lining up on the threshold, Nippon Cargo Airlines, Boeing 7478, going to Milan. We'll probably be able to catch a glimpse of it. Let's see, so that is one airplane taking off, so we should trace back a little. Probably somewhere around here is where that 747 should become visible once it is going airborne. Indeed, you know it, Rick. Sitting all the way back, as anonymous as possible. Goedemorgens Edwin, goedemorgens T-Mac, Gijsbers, Ronald, goedemorgen. Tiger 74, goedemorgen. Rashidi, goedemorgen, good morning. Johan, goedemorgen. Checking in from nearby Vinkeveen. I'll try to keep it dry over here, mate. Not sure if we're going to succeed in that, but... Alright, the ANA is rolling. Well. Gotcha. So yeah, Nippon Cargo Airlines Flight 51, Boeing 7478, on its way to Milan. Airplane is 10 years old, first flight June 2013. Good morning, Brian. Jan Willem, goedemorgen. WD Computer, guten morgen. So interestingly, this airplane is now turning to the east, despite having to go to the south eventually. Interesting. Good morning, Android phone. Miguel, good morning, checking in from Barcelona. So, visibility is definitely not too bad. Is it avoiding a shower or something? Not sure. In the meantime, more roadblocks are being placed along the cycling path. Warning signs that work is in progress, or at least the preparation for work is in progress. Now, let's see. Incoming next is a cargo airplane from MNG, an Airbus A321, also arriving from Istanbul. It should be visible in the distance, just about. There we go. MNG Airlines, flight 9406, Airbus A321, arriving from Istanbul, flight time 3 hours exactly. The airplane is 15 years old, first flight was in January 2008. Hey Kobe and Jan, goedemorgen. Checking in from Las Palmas, Gran Canaria. That is not too bad. And good morning to that person watching from Japan whose name I cannot pronounce because I don't know Japanese. Konnichiwa. Sumo Burger, goedemorgen. BN Dutch, goedemorgen. Right, there's also an Embraer 190 arriving from London City from the other side. Can we see it? Can we have them both in the same picture? Not seeing it just yet. Do we need to lower the camera perhaps a little bit? Or are the clouds obscuring it? I think that it's the latter. Oh wait, there she is. Embraer 190 arriving from London City, coming in from the west or the left of the field of view. And Rick has to be a party pooper. Always the same. Flauw. Right, MNG A321 arriving from Istanbul. Here she is. Hey Paul, goedemorgen. Now, there we go. The Embraer 190 arriving from London City will be followed by another Embraer 190 arriving from Berlin, so it will be coming in from the right. And there it is. Beautiful. Bit more sunny over there, as you guys can see. Hey there, good morning Dale, de Sparta Rotterdam, goedemorgen. Two Embraer 190s from KLM coming in. In the foreground, KLM flight 982 arriving from London City. Flight time 37 minutes. 11-year-old airplane, first flight January 2012. Behind it, KLM flight 1822 arriving from Berlin. Flight time 56 minutes. little butt shot coming in. And here's KLM flight 1822 arriving from Berlin, flight time 58 minutes, Embraer 190, 9 years old, first flight January 2014. Got two more airplanes coming up, both arriving from the west or from the left. Let's see, do I have it visually already? The clouds are interfering a little bit with visibility. A little bit of well, I'm not sure if they are showers. Did have a few droplets just now. Looks a bit more dark over there. Now turning in should be a Ryanair 737-800 arriving from Dublin. And behind it should be Air Canada flight 808. Both are expected to come into view. Ah, there's the first one from the left. Not too far behind it is a 777 from Air Canada that is arriving from YYZ, aka Toronto. This in the foreground, now having turned final, is Ryanair flight 420, Boeing 737-800, arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Flight time at the moment 59 minutes. 12-year-old airplane, first flight was in March 2011. Mr. Cole, good morning. GAXSTY, goedemorgen. Donna, good morning. Good to see you again. Connie, good morning. Miss Wolves 13, good morning. Hope everybody is doing alright. Now, will we be able to see Air Canada? It is, according to flight radar, almost turning onto the glide slope. Is it a bit further out? Oh wait, there it is. There we have them. So Ryanair arriving from Dublin in the foreground, Air Canada 777 in the background. We have a 787-9 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena. That is going to follow it, the triple. Still flying base. So we'll see that once the Ryanair has landed. Wind today is blowing mostly from the west. The meter I checked before going live was mentioning a 13 knot wind. So that is nearly 13 knots of crosswind then. Not excessively much, but definitely something that the pilots need to take into consideration. The runway is still damp, as you guys can see. Although Ryanair just made it a little less damp. Air Canada flight 808 is approaching. And there is the Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena, the 787-9 from KLM. Peter, good morning. Lisette, goedemorgen. So, Air Canada flight 808. Arriving from Toronto, Canada. Flight time 6 hours 12 minutes. 777-300ER, that is 16 years old. Began its career as an airplane in May 2007. Now, in terms of what's going on in the water, not a lot. Did have a few coots over here in the vicinity earlier, but they seem to have gone. At the moment I'm not seeing any bird activity in the water yet. Who knows what will happen later. Also haven't seen the firefight. Well, I did see the firefighter, I haven't seen the bird controllers yet. Firefighters already did their round. They were early this morning. They already passed by as I was setting up. This is KLM flight 741. 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena. Flight time 9 hours 8 minutes. 7-year-old airplane. First flight October 2015. Good evening, Fred. Good to see you, mate. Jannes, good morning. Good to see you again as well. Hope all is well over there in Greece. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, currently in use as runway 18 right. At the moment, the only runway in use for arrivals, although that might change later in the morning. The weather, sunny, but also some rain showers in the vicinity. You guys can see that. We have wind blowing from the west mostly. So at the moment, what is coming our way is looking okay. But north of me, you can see definitely a rain shower. Bit land inward, that might also be a rain shower. To the south of me, also definitely a rain shower. So fingers crossed that we're going to keep it dry over here. The plan is to stick around until the arrival of the A380. Hopefully it will land on Polderbaan for a change, but I'm not too optimistic. We are expecting 3 747s in the meantime. At least 3 that were airborne already at the time I checked this morning, just before going live. Also expected in, I think, 1.5 hours or maybe even less already. 1 hour and 15 minutes, maybe even less. I'm not sure exactly anymore, but we are expecting an A321 from Jet Blue arriving from New York JFK. They started their service, I think, 2 days ago. And good morning, guten Morgen. Ja, I love aviation. Herzlich willkommen. We are now looking at a Boeing 737-700 arriving from Geneva, from KLM. Flight time 1 hour and 13 minutes. A 13-year-old airplane. A little bit of a wheelie. Nice bonus. Alright, next up, a big bird. Delta Airlines Flight 74, Airbus A350-900 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight time 7 hours 12 minutes. This airplane is 4 years old. Its first flight was in January 2019. Paul says that the Jet Blue is expected to arrive around 11:30 local time, so that is in 1 hour and 10 minutes approximately. Gracefully grabbing its way over to the threshold of runway 18 right. You want some spray with that? Yes, please. Right, the next airplane to arrive is from Croatia Airlines A319 in the Star Alliance livery, flight 450, coming in from Zagreb, where it left 1 hour and 43 minutes ago. The airplane is 24 years old already and began flying in May 1999, so we have a millennial coming in. On the left, we can already see the next airplane, which is from Lufthansa, arriving from Munich, Airbus A320. And absolutely Andy. Crosswind arrivals with a bit of moisture on the ground makes for the visually most pleasing content, I agree. Particularly if the reversers get used, like on the A350 just now. Get some nice spray and some nice audio. A little departure from, is that American? Dreamliner American? Yeah, American Airlines Flight 221 going to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. 7878. 6 years old, first flight March 2017. Visualization of the wind. You can see it is blowing from the west. Let me see if I can update the ticker with the latest weather, see what the weather is doing in the meantime. Let me quickly go to flight radar, see if I can copy paste it in time. Wind has slowed down just a little bit to 10 knots, but it is now coming directly from the west. Race against the clock. Paste, adjust font size, save, just in time. There we go. So I have pasted the latest meter in the ticker just now. A320 from Lufthansa, arriving from Munich, flight 2302. Flight time 1 hour and 9 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. Und herzlich willkommen, Lufthansa. Now, and today is the last day of the official meteorological summer, Lance is saying. Not that we'd know this. Well, no, lovely summery weather. This is typical Dutch summer weather, absolutely. But astronomically, we're still good for 3 more weeks, so let's just hold on to that thought. Right, triple time. Qatar Cargo, flight 8156, arriving from Panama City. Flight time 9 hours and 54 minutes. This 777 freighter is 3 years old and had its first flight in July of the year 2020. Crabbity crap crap. Okay, Anna is saying that there is a Belgian Air Force F-16 over Purmerend. In which direction is it flying? And how high is it flying? Bird control coming in from the right in 3, 2, 1. Okay, F-16 at 27,000 feet. Not hearing anything. Nothing out of the ordinary, at least. That might also have to do with my hearing. Haven't seen anything, haven't heard anything. Do have a nice patch of blue sky looking in the direction of Purmerend approximately. Didn't notice anything. Speedbird 1, morning! Well, you do find me well, absolutely. And you got over your COVID, so that is great news, man. Congratulations. Oh, and this is the wind. And what happens when you don't block your tripod? The wind will blow my camera to the right. downside of Crosswind. Yellard says that there's also a Cathay Pacific 747 expected from Paris just before the arrival of the A380. So that makes 4 747s then, if I counted correctly. Right, so this is Speedbird flight 430, arriving from London Heathrow, A320, flight time 42 minutes. The airplane is 20 years old, first flight October 2002. Does seem like there is a shower just southeast of me. Can definitely see the darkness. Also some precipitation falling probably. Definitely see the activity in the clouds. Right, let's have a look. The next airplane to arrive is going to be an A318 from Tarom, arriving from Bucharest, arriving from the east, so from the right. A couple of airplanes are coming in. The first one to arrive from the right hand side is Tarom, flight 361, Airbus A318. Behind it, coming in from the same direction, is a KLM 737-900, arriving from Copenhagen. What you heard just now was some deterrent from the bird controller. Who is a bit more to the right. Oh, even getting out of the car. Good morning, Peter PDK. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. The bird controller driving south. K2. How about some airplanes? Are they visible just yet? Let me have a look. I think I see something visually. Okay, interesting. That's a formation of birds. Oh, Tarom is going to center. Haha. Had a wrong look at. Did not look closely enough to flight radar. Did not notice that they had opened up center, and apparently now doing a runway check. The next couple of airplanes are arriving on the center runway. Right, so this is KLM flight 1126, Boeing 737-900, arriving from Copenhagen. Flight time right now 53 minutes. The airplane is 21 years old. First flight was in October 2001. Right, next traffic to Polderbaan. I can already see it in the distance. Nice backdrop against which the 737 is making its way over to runway center. And that bird kite in the foreground. Wonder how effective these things are actually. Now, where's that airplane? There we go. Two airplanes coming up. Oh, this is interesting because I now also see on flight radar that there's an EasyJet A320 arriving from Prague that is going to runway 27. So surely they haven't opened up 3 runways for arrivals. That would be a little bit of overkill. In the foreground, KLM flight 1002, Boeing 737-800, arriving from London Heathrow, flight time 37 minutes, the airplane is 24 years old. Behind it is Delta Airlines Airbus A330, arriving from Minneapolis. Another Embraer 190, arriving from London City, further up north behind the A330, not yet visible, but soon will be. Hey there, John Freddy, greetings to you too, my man. Thank you for tuning in. And you have a nice day as well. Our next airplane, Delta Airlines Flight 162, Airbus A330-300, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Flight time 7 hours and 24 minutes. The airplane is 19 years old. Its first flight was in March 2004. And we can see the next airplane a bit more to the top left, appearing in the distance. Let's have a look. I think enabling image stabilizer will be beneficial due to the windy conditions and the vibrations. So just set that. There we go. And both the next airplane and the airplane behind it are visible. Good morning, Preacher. Good morning, Debbie. Arjan, goedemorgen. In the foreground we have British Airways Flight 8451 Embraer 190 arriving from London City after 40 minutes of flight. This airplane is 13 years old. First flight January 2010. Behind it is another Embraer 190 from KLM, also arriving from London City. KLM Flight 984. Similar flight time, 38 minutes. The KLM Embraer is 14 years old. Air Canada Flight 900 will be coming after that. Dreamliner 7878. Hopefully we can see it turn onto the glide slope after this airplane has landed. And Janet's storm is not underway. We do have a little bit of crosswind, but it is mostly some showers that we are still having in mostly the northern half of the country. So that is why those clouds you see sometimes are quite dark. It was a bit of a gamble going out. So far it has worked out. There are definitely showers in the area, although this already has passed, and what you're seeing over there will not pass me. I will need to look in this direction. So far things look okay. Trying to spot Air Canada in the distance, but I am not seeing it. Oh wait, there it is in the top left. Excellent. Sponge says playtime in 10 minutes. That is good news. Danny, goedemorgen. So I will have to update the ticker in terms of the runway usage. Seems that 27 has now opened up again as a secondary runway for arrivals. me have a quick look on the LVNL website, see what they are saying in terms of runway usage. In the meantime, welcome to all viewers who have just tuned in. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently one of two runways used for arrivals. The wind is blowing from the west, so there is crosswind. From the right for the airplane's landing, runway 27 has also opened up. So arrivals on 18 right and 27, let me update that. Departures still take place from 18 left and runway 24. And the METAR now coming along in the ticker is from 7:55 Zulu time, so that is 9:55. So it is already almost an hour old. Also need to update that. 10 knot wind from the west, variable between 240 degrees and 300 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Showers in the vicinity, VCSH. Few clouds at 2,500 feet, cumulus clouds. Let me quickly go back to the camera controls. Air Canada, flight 900. 7878 Dreamliner landing after 5 hours and 44 minutes of flight. The airplane 8 years old, first flight January 2015. Next up is going to be a United Airlines Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco. United Airlines flight 968. The airplane is underway now for 9 hours and 51 minutes, arriving from San Francisco. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight was in July 2015. Further up north, I am not sure if we are going to be able to see that. I think it is too far to the north, but who knows. Is a 777 turning onto the glide slope, arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. I think we do see it. Nice. Nice. Hey there, Alex, checking in from Vienna in Austria. En Evert, goedemorgen. Frank is saying, in Brabant there is sunshine, no rain. It differs. Some parts it is nice and sunny and dry, in other parts it is rainy. Others are in between. I think we are on the border of where the showers are and where it stays dry. Hey, Servus Peppi. Auch wieder dabei. Hope you're doing well. This is KLM Flight 598 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. Triple 7300 ER underway for 11 hours and 17 minutes. The airplane 6 years old, first flight January 2017. Hey Sander, goedemorgen. Georgios, good morning. Right, now, is it coming to the center runway? The plane Neo? Looks like it. Or is it coming our way? Oh wait, it is coming our way. Had to look closely in the distance, but I did see the airplane's lights. Ladies and gentlemen, it is playtime. It is that time of day again, where the plane A320 Neo is arriving from Reykjavik. Visible in the distance. We'll be landing in a few minutes. The airplane is underway now for 2 hours and 34 minutes. She's brand new, meaning less than a year old, and the first flight of this airplane was in October last year. Looks like a Transavia 737 is turning onto the glide slope in the north. Looks like it might be overshooting a little bit. Does that mean we will be seeing it come in from the right? No, wait, there it is already. Flight radar is not exactly in sync with the actual airplane's paths, but that's okay. Plane spotter Rotterdam asks about the Orange Pride, and what was it again? Just past 12 or so? 10 past 12 or so, I think it was. Yillard mentioned it, I think, earlier. So, there we go, daytime. Striking livery. Hey Sven, goedemorgen. Right. Next up, a relocation flight from Transavia coming in. No, sorry, not a. Well, it is a relocate. It is relocating, but no, I thought it was Groningen, but it is from Girona. Also relocating, bit more international than I thought initially it was. Transavia flight 5766, Boeing 737-800, flight time 1 hour and 47 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old and its first flight was in the year 2010 in April. Hey Herben, goedemorgen. Kamarul, aloha, checking in from all the way from Malaysia. Aloha to you too, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is having fun. That's most important. You're watching arrivals over here at AMS Live. This is the Polderbaan. One of the 2 runways currently in use. We have wind blowing from the west. Runway 27 is now also open for arrivals. What can we see from over here? You might wonder. Not much. These are airplanes that are flying over Amstelveen and Amsterdam Schiphol to land on this runway next to the McDonald's. Unfortunately, trees and other obstructions are already blocking the view. You can see the wind is picking up. Image is a bit shaky despite me having enabled image stabilizer. But that makes for nice crabbing on the runway where we are standing next to. So, ducks have awoken. The first ducks of the stream over there on their little slab of concrete. Always a hot spot for the birds, and the little peninsula left of it as well, although I'm not seeing any birds over there right now. So 3 ducks. Can I see more activity of birds in the water at the moment? Unfortunately I don't. Hey Evan! Oh! Oh, of course. Bloods and Crips, red and blue. But the airplane is definitely a looker. Whether you like it or not, it is definitely standing out in a crowd of otherwise white and blue, white and green, white and red airplanes. The vast majority these days. Now, speaking of one of those boring all-white airplanes, Flight Radar says one is coming, and it is coming in from Tangier, Royal Air Maroc. All-white, flight 1682, arrival from Tangier, 2 hours and 39 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 18 years old. Its first flight was in April 2005. And Plane Spotter Rotterdam asks, will I be spotting until the Jet Blue? Well, no, my plan was to stop exactly 5 minutes before the Jet Blue airplane landed. No, the plan is to stick around until the A380 has landed, if the weather allows me to do so. So we should be seeing the Jet Blue, and also I believe there are 4 747s also underway that will arrive on Schiphol before the A380. Now the question of course is, will those airplanes land on this runway, or will they land on 27 or on center or another runway that isn't the Polderbaan, which is still a possibility. Bina Plummer asks, are there Crips and Bloods in Europe? How do you guys know about them and their colors? Well, it may surprise you that we also get information of stuff happening all over the world over here in Europe, including the United States. And stuff like rap music was also very popular in Europe in the 90s. So everything between East Coast and West Coast going on the other side of the pond, we also learned about. So definitely not something that is just locally known, but most people of my age or younger will have heard of it. To answer your question, we did have a dependance, or whatever you would like to call it, a local chapter of the Crips in The Hague at some point, believe it or not. They were officially Crips. They had like a chapter in The Hague. I think later it became a motorcycle gang, competition of Hell's Angels and etc. So don't ask me the specifics, but I do know that we did have at some point also have official Crips in the Netherlands with their blue handkerchiefs and stuff. Right, 2 Embraer 190s coming in. First one arriving from London City, the other one in the background arriving from Manchester. More is underway. Not sure if we are seeing it already. I don't think we do. No. The third airplane turning onto the glide slope is further north. A320 arriving from Madrid. So, Embraer 190 arriving from London City in the SkyTeam livery. KLM flight 984. Touching down after 37 minutes of flight time. In the meantime, I'm getting a notification of a PayPal donation from Evan. Thank you so much for that, my friend. You really shouldn't have, you know that, but thank you nonetheless. Appreciate it, my friend. Wind is picking up. I'm happy that I chose to put on my parka, my winter parka, because it at least keeps me a bit warm. Doesn't feel like it is still summer at all, but it makes for nice footage. Next up, KLM flight 1072, Embraer 190 arriving from Manchester. Flight time 45 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. And Jasper is asking if today is the first day of Jet Blue landing on Schiphol. It isn't, my friend. I think it was the day before yesterday that they first flew from JFK to Amsterdam. So this would be the third day that Jet Blue has started flying to Amsterdam. At least their first flight from JFK, the one from Boston, is due to start in 3 weeks or so. September 22nd or so. Not sure of the exact date, but somewhere around the 20th, if I recall correctly. Bird controller doing its thing. A320 Iberia Express, arriving from Madrid, now touching down. KLM style landing, keeping up the speed, vacate late, sooner to the gate. If you guys are unfamiliar with the layout, this runway, the Polderbaan, is the furthest removed from the main platform area. You can see the previous plane still taxiing. We have a dedicated ATC control tower over here because we are so far removed from the main platform area and the terminal building where the gates are. This is the original ATC control tower. Directly adjacent to it is the terminal building where all the gates are. That means that the airplanes still have a 10 to 15 minute taxi to get from over here all the way over there. Along this line of trees, they have to taxi back to the main platform area. You can see the airplanes in the distance. That's where the gates are. That's where the main terminal building is. Somebody asked, what are they doing along the cycling path? I don't know. It looks like they are going to work, but so far they are only putting down the, well, whatever these are, markers, for lack of a better word. They've gone, they've only put down those markers and no one further around doing any actual work at the moment. This is KLM flight 1724 arriving from Brussels. Boeing 737-700, short flight, 26 minutes. The airplanes, the pilots need to prepare for landing almost immediately after retracting the landing gear during takeoff. That's how short the flight actually is. If you look on the map, look at where Brussels is and Amsterdam is. If you're not European and don't know how close or far away these two cities are, it's crazy actually that airplanes are flying between these two destinations. This airplane is 12 years old. First flight was in May 2011. Seems that the birds in the water have multiplied in number. A whole squadron of lady ducks is present once again. So these are 6, 7, 8. Although I'm not sure of the one in the middle, if that is a ladybird or a gentleman duck. The squadron is on the move. They're coming towards me. Going to the north. Right, the next airplane coming our way. The wind is definitely picking up, I can tell you that. Hopefully they are going to keep directing traffic towards the Polderbaan. There is also such a thing as too much crosswind, of course. If that is going to happen and all traffic will be going to 27, then we are properly screwed, to keep it as family friendly as possible. This is KLM flight 1516 arriving from Norwich. Short flight, 29 minutes. The crow flies also a relatively close by destination. 7-year-old airplane, first flight March 2016. Well, so far, weather has been alright. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing it by saying this out loud. But this is looking to the south. The wind is coming from the west, so this is the direction I need to look at to see whether or not I'm going to stay dry. And yeah, what can I say? Beautiful clouds in the distance. This is looking to the southeast. This is looking to the east. And again, if you want to see what you can see from over here from arriving traffic, it isn't much to runway 27. There is a 747 coming in. I suppose we could have a look at it until it goes behind the trees or the runway, highway I should say. Let me have a look. This would be the Saudia 747 arriving from Jeddah. Boeing 747-400 freighter. Flight time 5 hours and 26 minutes. This airplane is 28 years old. First flight was in December 1994. Hey there, Michael Kelly, this week's edition. Trevor, good morning. Trevor asks, are you staying for Jet Blue arrival in 20 minutes? Well, no, in 10 minutes I'm going to wrap it up, mate. Nah, just kidding. I'm sticking around until the arrival of the A380, weather permitting. This is one of 4, I believe, 747s that will be landing on Schiphol before the A380 is expected to land around 1:30 p.m. local time. Now, we're lucky in that Jet Blue is arriving from the west, so unless they are absolutely going to close the runway, which I don't think they will, we will see the arrival of the A321 from Jet Blue on this runway up close. Now, looks like we'll have to wait a little bit for the next traffic to come to this runway. I think a few 737s are underway from Birmingham and Paris Charles de Gaulle. Another yellow vehicle driving around. This is not a bird control vehicle. I think it is an authority vehicle. Airport authority. So what do you call this? A train of birds? A train of ducks? Duck train? There's always one lacking behind. Always. The red lantern. Meanwhile, the peloton is moving further north. Hey Gerrit, goedemorgen. Well, while we're waiting, let's have a look at another airplane landing on runway 27 then. This would be Air Malta A320 Neo arriving from Malta. Let's see what is happening on runway 24. .737 taking off. So yeah, visibility is good. It's a bit windy, a bit cloudy, but as long as the airplanes stay below the cloud base, you can follow them really well today. Looks like there's another 737 from Ryanair taking off next. A couple of heavies will be taking off shortly. Air Europa. No, that's not a heavy. China Southern Cargo. Now, let's have a look further north. The airplane arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. I'm looking to the west to see if I can see it on its... Hey, that is odd. I'm seeing an airplane fly in the opposite direction. Is that Coast Guard? That is probably Coast Guard, isn't it? That is flying from north to south, probably just in front of the coast or over the coast. I was looking to see if maybe I could spot the 737 on its downwind leg flying north. Not seeing it. But the clouds, once again, magnificent. While we're at it, let me also update the ticker with the latest weather, the METAR. We have a few minutes before the next air traffic is arriving on Polderbaan. I'm also seeing a 747 arriving from Shanghai, Air China Cargo. Not sure if that is going to go to our runway or not. If you guys are following or have Omgevingsinfo Schiphol open, you can also see what runway it will be assigned to once it enters Dutch airspace, which will be in a few minutes. Right, updating the METAR in the ticker. Weather not significantly different from what it was earlier. Hey Gerrit-Jan, Mabube, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. And Anna said it was an NLD C-130. Okay, interesting. Hercules. Our next airplane is arriving from Birmingham. This is KLM flight 1422, Boeing 737-800, flight time 39 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old. First flight was in May 2011. Oh, let's go back to manual focus. We had a little bit of a focus dance because I still had autofocus enabled because of the ducks. As you guys can see in the ticker, the wind direction has not changed drastically, nor has the wind speed changed drastically. Now, next up will be KLM flight 1230, Boeing 737-800, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. behind it is going to be a Dreamliner from KLM arriving from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. YYZ, yeah, Toronto. Also, there's a 777 flying over to the north, just having taken off from runway 24. Yeah, only briefly visible, but you can definitely still hear it. So this is KLM flight 1230, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, 737-800. 23 years old, first flight was in May 2000. And Gustavo Savio, good day to you. Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope everybody is. Our next airplane making its way over here is KLM flight 696, arriving from Toronto, Canada. Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, underway now for 6 hours and 16 minutes. This airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in March 2018. Absolutely dislike how the image goes up and down constantly due to the overshoot when having image stabilizer enabled. So let's have a look, see if maybe going without is doable after all. Let's see, two more airplanes are approaching. First up is an Embraer 190 arriving from Luxembourg. Behind it is an Airbus A319 arriving from London Luton. And number 3 is going to be Jet Blue, arriving from New York JFK, A321 Neo. I can already see that it is too shaky. Going back to enabling image stabilizer. Right, Anna asks if I can include gusts in the ticker. Well, if they are mentioned in the METAR, I will mention them as well. I'm just copy pasting the METAR that is published on Flight Radar, which I think is just the automatically generated METAR. So if there are no gust mentioned, then I am not mentioning it in the ticker either, of course. And Evan asks if I can start mentioning what kind of engines they have whenever they haven't been seen in a while. Well, insofar as I know that, but I think you are seriously overestimating my knowledge about airplane engines then, Evan. Wish I could, but I think you think I am more knowledgeable than I actually am in that respect. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 is Jet Blue A321 Neo. Is that the second flight or the third flight already of them coming over from New York JFK? It is visible in the distance. In the foreground we have EasyJet flight 22515, which is an Airbus A319 arriving from London Luton. EasyJet A319 is underway now for 37 minutes. It is 16 years old. Its first flight was in March 2007. Right, I'm not going to follow it through, just see the actual touchdown. There you go, landed safely. Right, first time on the AMS live stream. Either the second or the third time it is coming to the Netherlands. Jet Blue Airways flight 62288 A321 Neo, arriving from New York JFK, where it left 6 hours and 27 minutes ago. This is an A321 Neo, brand new, meaning less than a year old, and according to Flight Radar, this airplane had its first flight in May this year. So not only Air Transat is flying the A321 Neo transatlantically, JetBlue now does too. First initially from New York JFK only, later in September they'll also start flying in from Boston. So let's have a look. First time on the show, you'll know how it looks from the pictures, but this time we can see it land live. Alright, nice. Yorkshire, good morning mate. You tuned in just in time. Next up is an Embraer 175 arriving from Southampton, KLM flight 916. Flight time 41 minutes. 6-year-old airplane, the wind. The crosswind is blowing the camera to the right. My camera is too light. Needs to be more heavy. Right, 2 airplanes visible. EasyJet and also KLM behind it. EasyJet A321 Neo arriving from London Gatwick. Flight 28674, touching down after a flight of 39 minutes. Niels, goedemorgen. Next up is KLM flight 767, which is an Airbus A330-300 arriving from Bonaire. The B in the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. In the not Mediterranean, in the Caribbean Sea, just off the coast of Venezuela. Flight time of this airplane is 9 hours and 4 minutes. The airplane is 11 years old. Its first flight was in March 2012. Drifting along. Nice. Finally an airplane using those reverse thrusts. Those thrust reversers. There we go. Next airplane, KLM flight 1414, Embraer 175, arriving from Lyon in France. This airplane is on the way now for 1 hour and 13 minutes. 6 years old, first flight June 2017. Kees, goedemorgen. Jordan, good morning. Jordan says it's getting more and more cloudy. Hope it stays dry. Well, yeah, it is getting a bit more cloudy, looking to the west as well. This is where the wind is blowing from. Still looks okay-ish, but you're right, it definitely is looking a bit more cloudy here and there. Wind is also picking up. Crabbing is definitely intensifying, particularly for these smaller, lighter airplanes. Ronald, goedemorgen. Right, next up, Delta Airlines Flight 136, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Detroit. There we go. Now let's have a look. Transavia arriving from Palma de Mallorca behind it. The question is, will we be able to see that already? Is already on the glide slope according to flight radar, so tilting a little bit down. They typically are a bit lower if they're further out. Not seeing it just yet. I think the clouds are interfering with visibility. Ah, there it is, just left of center. So it was indeed obscured by the clouds, which you can beautifully see move from the left to the right, from east to west. This is the camera pointing to the north. So this is Delta Airlines Flight 136, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Touching down after 6 hours and 54 minutes of flight. This airplane is 16 years old. Its first flight was in July 2007. The next airplane will be from Transavia, arriving from Palma de Mallorca. And left of it you can see the next airplane arriving, which is an Embraer 175 arriving from Aberdeen. Behind it we should see, or at least will see quite soon, a 777 that is arriving from Curacao. Ah, there you go. Bigger than I thought it would be, and a bit lower. That is the number 3 airplane, by the way. overshooting a little bit perhaps. Oh, that is a nice footage. Yeah, definitely overshot the glide slope somewhat. Folks, if you just tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan runway 18 right. Currently one of the two runways used for arrivals, together with runway 27. The wind is blowing from the west. This is what you can see from air traffic landing to runway 27. Perpendicular to the runway we are standing next to. This runway, airplanes are landing from the north to the south. The wind is blowing from the west, i.e. crosswind from the right, meaning crabbing to our point of view. Nicely captured together are two airplanes in the foreground. In the bottom right is KLM flight 1442, Embraer 175 arriving from Aberdeen, flight time 1 hour and 10 minutes, 7-year-old airplane, first flight July 2016. Not too far behind it is KLM flight 736 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao, 777-300ER, flight time 8 hours and 48 minutes, and the 777 is 2 years old. Its first flight was in January 2021. So, looks like the Embraer in the foreground will have to keep up the speed, otherwise, if it is vacating too late, or it has to brake quick and will be doing a butt shot, taking the first exit where we are standing in line with. If it hasn't vacated the runway in time, the 777 will have to go around. So come decision altitude, they will have to commit to landing or go around. So they will probably have been instructed to vacate as soon as possible, which is exactly what it looks like they are going to do, taking the first exit over here. Which means that they can continue. They should probably reach decision altitude about now, but they can commit to the landing then, just in time. Lucas-san, good morning, doing well, thank you for asking. Hope everybody is doing well. Buttery smooth. And a wheelie to boot. Nice. What a treat. Right, two more airplanes are coming, Embraer 190 and an E2 Embraer 195. All the while, the sun has started to shine again over here. All around me it looks quite cloudy, however the wind is coming from this angle. I kid you not. So yeah. Maybe I have a guardian angel looking over me, but we have been lucky so far in terms of the weather. JP Leon 1918, good day, checking in from Brazil. Jordan says a cargo 747 is about to land. Yillard also informing us on runway 27. Is it further out or has it landed already? It is really hard to see any details from over here, from airplanes landing on that runway. Right, this is KLM Flight 1474 being flown by German Airways. It is an Embraer 190 arriving from Glasgow. E2 Embraer 195 in the foreground. In the background we have an A320 Neo. The E2 Embraer is coming in from Bristol, flight 1050, flight time 47 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old. Its first flight was in February of the year 2021. Behind it is the EasyJet A320 Neo arriving from Pisa. If I looked correctly, there would be another heavy behind it. Curious to see how long runway 27 will stay open. You'd think at some point they will maybe close it again, but then again, you never know. 747 is landing. Well, let me show you quickly what you can see from over here. It isn't much. You can recognize 4 engines and a big airplane. If you look really well, you can see it is a 747. Air China Cargo, flight 1033, arriving from Shanghai after 10 hours and 35 minutes. And the A320 Neo having landed. In the meantime, over here, let's have a look. Okay, I thought there were heavies inbound, but there aren't just yet. We do see 2 airplanes coming our way. 737-800 and an Embraer 175. In the foreground is a Boeing 737-800 arriving from Edinburgh. It is KLM Flight 1278. Flight time 1 hour and 2 minutes. lovely cloudy backdrop still. The next two airplanes are an Embraer 175 and an Embraer 190, followed by an E2 Embraer 195. The Embraer 175 in the foreground is KLM flight 1486, arriving from Humberside. 42 minutes of flight time. 5-year-old airplane, first flight January 2018. Third airplane also visible in the distance to the far left. Visualizing the glide slope nicely. Bird control vehicle standing still, enjoying the front row seats. Although I think they would see more if they turned around the vehicle to the north. Now the wind is definitely not slowing down. I think it is picking up further. Water is also becoming a bit more ripply. And this would be an Embraer 190 arriving from Dublin. KLM flight 934. Flight time 1 hour and 2 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. Its first flight was in October 2009. Okay, Paul has to go. Thank you for joining, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon, mate. Hey there, Jean-Yves. You were already there, weren't you? Or did you leave in the meantime? Did I miss that? Probably, that was probably it then. Pretty sure I already said hi to you earlier in the morning. Hey, what is this? Droplets? Okay. Probably from the cloud just south of me. Blowing a little bit towards me. KLM flight 1986 arriving from Basel. E2 Embraer 195. A little bit surprised that I'm feeling droplets on me right now. Let's keep the camera away from where the droplets are coming from. Prevents the need to wipe the lens. Two airplanes visible in the distance. Embraer 190 and an Embraer 190. In the foreground, a KLM arriving from Stavanger, London City, and in the background is the one arriving from Stavanger. Hey Remco, goedemorgen. Jorn, goedemorgen. I thought I remembered that I said hi to you already, Jean-Yves, as I was distracted by the whistling sound of one of the flares that the bird controller is setting off. culprit of the noises you heard just now. Hey Ton, goedemorgen. 747 Cargolux, 8 minutes out, coming from behind you. Where is it coming in from? Let me zoom out on flight radar. Oh, right, it is coming from the west. Nice. The first queen that we are able to see on this runway then, probably. So we did have a few droplets just now. Let me hold my hand in front of the lens cap, providing some extra shelter against rain droplets for insofar as they are still there. It passed south of me, but I guess the wind just blew some droplets in my direction. There's a nice big stack of airplanes, heavies arriving from the west over the North Sea. They will all come to this runway, I'm expecting. One of them is a Cargolux 747. Finally one that we are likely going to see land in front of us. We've had to wait for it for a while, but our patience will get rewarded, hopefully. Either that or I'm jinxing it by saying it out loud, and then you guys can all unsubscribe and never come visit the channel again. But I think we should be good. Let's have a look. Airplanes are arriving from the west. The first airplane moving onto the glide slope is an Embraer 190 arriving from Darlington, not far behind it, and maybe we can also see it in a few moments, is a 777 arriving from Vancouver. Hey Wilma, goedemorgen. Zooming out just a little bit. It's always a question to see where exactly it is going to appear in the field of view, but we should be able to see it, I think, once it does enter. There it is, from the left, 777-300ER arriving from Vancouver, Canada. And more airplanes will be following from that direction. There's an a regular Embraer 190 coming, but behind it is a 747. I think I see the Embraer already. That is the Embraer, or is that the 747 already? Let me see if I can also have a look on... Oh wait, it is the... No, that is the Embraer. And behind it we should see a 747 shortly. Just checking to see if I'm already seeing it, but I don't. Right, so in the foreground, Embraer 190 arriving from Darlington. In the background, 777 arriving from Vancouver, Canada. Both airplanes are from KLM. The Embraer in the foreground, KLM flight 1534, flight time 47 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in October 2013. Crabbing away. And a nice wheelie to boot. Check it out. So in the right hands, these Embraers can also be gnarly wheelie machines. We've seen countless, well, several examples of that already. Now I'm also getting a PayPal notification of a very generous donation from Photo4You. Thank you so much for that, Ton. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much, my friend. Oh, you could also see the shade of the airplane as it was approaching, left of the approach lights. KLM flight 682 arriving from Vancouver, Canada, touching down in a few seconds after 8 hours and 41 minutes of flight. Alright, let's have a look. The 747 is already on final. I think I see it already. Yes, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a nice shot this is. Maybe if I put it a little bit right of center. Well, there we go. Beautiful. That could well be a thumbnail. Either that or the A321 of Jet Blue. In the foreground, Embraer 190, German Airways flying for KLM as KLM flight 1060 arriving from Cardiff. Flight time 15 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in January 2008. Behind it is Cargolux. Flight number, it doesn't say, just CLX68K. Boeing 747-400, HAFER, arriving from Miami, Florida, where it left 7 hours and 56 minutes. And the 747 is 15 years old, so relatively young. First flight of this airplane was in February 2008. If you look at 7 to 8 o'clock of the 747, you can see the next airplane in the distance also coming our way. Let's have a quick look at the landing of the Embraer. Let me quickly go back to the 747. Alright, no wheelies. Right, in the foreground we have the 747. Behind it we see a 737 that is arriving from London Heathrow, KLM flight 1008. Behind it we should see a 777-300 arriving from Panama City. Although I'm not seeing it just yet. Also when zooming out, not yet. Well, let's see how the Queen will sound and if there is still spray that any reversers might throw up or if it has already evaporated. Definitely still some moisture here and there. That was definitely not too bad. In the meantime, thank you so much JD for gifting an AMS Live membership, and congratulations to Evan who has gifted the membership. Thank you so much for that, JD, and welcome back to the Aurora Sky Lounge, Evan. Good to have you back, mate. Now, let's quickly turn around the camera Another combination of a narrow body and a heavy is approaching. In the foreground, KLM flight 1008, arrival from London Heathrow, Boeing 737-800. Flight time 38 minutes. The airplane is 23 years old. First flight was in July 2000. And behind it we have a 777-300 ER, arrival from Panama City in the KLM Orange Pride livery. It's the PHBVA, ladies and gentlemen. And behind it is a Dreamliner 10 arriving from LAX. So we're about to get heavy on the heavies. Let's quickly have a look at the landing of the 737 and then go quickly back to the PHBVA Orange Pride 777. Come on, put her down. There you go. Alright, nice. Now, let's quickly turn around the camera. PHBVA is inbound. The Orange Pride 777-300. Today flying in from Panama City as KLM flight 758. Flight time of this airplane 9 hours and 35 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in January 2008. Behind it is KLM flight 604 arriving from LAX. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. And Zalurk, thank you so much for just becoming a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Welcome, mate, and thank you for your support. We have KLM Orange Pride grabbing its way over to the runway threshold. Still crosswind from the right for the airplanes. The wind is blowing from the west. They are landing to the south. What a greaser, that was beautiful. Extremely gentle. Beautiful landing. Hey! Look at what I just heard splash and saw appear from out of the water. And going under again. The first grebe of the day. Will we see it again? Undoubtedly, it will re-emerge somewhere. Though where is always the question. Sneaky. All the way over there. They are very good underwater swimmers, I can tell you that. You always have to zoom out, because they can re-emerge quite far away. Alright, the next airplane is arriving from LAX, KLM flight 604. Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, arriving from Los Angeles. Flight time 9 hours 35 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. Its first flight was in August 2020. Now you see flex in the wings, and as soon as those spoilers go up, boom. Killer Spieler says it seems that it's really breezy. It is indeed, mate. We have double-digit wind blowing from the west, so the wind is on average blowing perpendicularly to the runway heading, and that makes for nice crabbing action all day so far. And also some showery weather, although at the moment it looks quite good still. Over here in the vicinity at least. Oh! A350 from Finnair going back to Helsinki. Flying over there. Flying to the northeast towards Groningen. So we have the right wind speed and direction. We also have the right backdrop with the clouds. Beautiful conditions for arrivals here today. We're now looking at a Boeing 737-700 from Transavia. They do have a few. Most of the fleet is 800s, and I think they also have a couple of 900s. They also still have a few 700s. This one is coming in from Barcelona as Transavia flight 5132. Flight time, as is almost always the case when arriving from Barcelona, is around 2 hours, 1 hour and 57 minutes today. This airplane is 20 years old already and had its first flight in March 2003. The Transavia 737 is taking the first exit, which means butt shot coming in. Boom, there you go. Okay, I thought that Transavia had 737-900s, but Zalurk says that they don't, so they have 800s then and a couple of 700s. My bad, I thought that they had 900s. Now, let's have a look. Looks like the next airplane is coming in from the west. Boeing 737 MAX 8 from TUI, arriving from Ibiza. I'm looking to see if I can see it visually already, so we can follow it on the base leg as well. It is now still flying to the north, just in front of the coast. I think we are going to see... Ooh, is that going to center? The 737 arriving from Bergen. No, I do see it. There we go. I'm also looking to the left to see if maybe we can see the MAX 8, but it is still flying further away from us. That's a bit of a bummer. Looks like there's also an A330 Neo passing by in a moment. Bit of an unusual course. Maybe it is... I think it is flying a different route because of weather. Looks like there is a little rain shower passing by south of me. Oh, I was still zoomed in. I think this is what the A330 Neo is evading. Does look like a little bit of precipitation. It's passing south of me. Might get a few droplets along from it, but again the wind is coming mostly from the northwesterly direction, so this is approximately the direction the weather is coming from. That is still looking good to me. There we go. Now, that 737 MAX 8 should be entering the field of view somewhere in the distance. at some point. There we go, nice. There you go. Now, insert your classical music here. This is another one of those moments. You could make a time lapse out of this. In the foreground we have a Boeing 737-700 arriving from Bergen, KLM flight 1186. Flight time 1 hour and 13 minutes. This airplane is 14 years old. Its first flight was in October 2008. We haven't seen any go-arounds yet today, so even though there is crosswind, the wind is not so volatile. That it has necessitated go-arounds, which of course is good news. Then again, if you want some spectacle, then of course it is a bit disappointing. But we can't have it all. And this is still a very nice day to be doing some streaming with all of you guys. And runway 27 is now closed. I'm seeing in the chat, that is good news. All inbound traffic coming to this runway for the time being. Means I will have to update the ticker later. Embraer 190 entering the field of view from the left, coming in from, is that Stuttgart? Yeah, okay, interesting. Interesting. Right, TUI 737 MAX 8 arriving from Ibiza, touching down after 2 hours and 17 minutes of flight. And indeed, there are a few droplets now falling from that cloud that passes by south of me mostly. So that is nothing to write home about, was expected already. Right, the next two airplanes are already visible, but before zooming in, let me go back to the computer and say thank you and congratulations to Matty, who just became a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for your support, Matty, and welcome. Two airplanes visible, or are that three already visible? Or is that the smudge on my laptop screen? Let me have a look. I think it is a smudge on the screen. Yeah, just two. The next airplane to arrive is this Embraer 190. Arriving from Stuttgart, KLM flight 1870. Flight time 1 hour exactly, according to Flight Radar. The airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in November of the year 2013. Now, in an hour or so, we are expecting the A380 from Emirates. In the meantime, looking at how more cloudy or hazy it seems in the distance. It looks like rain is falling from this cloud just south of me. So we're dodging bullets here. I'm not Boris the bullet dodger, but Boy the bullet dodger, it seems like. Dodging rainy bullets today. Next up, Airbus A320, EasyJet Flight 23301 arriving from Edinburgh. It is underway now for an hour and a minute. 11 years old, first flight was in February 2012. Now in an hour and 10 minutes or so, the Emirates A380 is expected. Wouldn't it be nice if this would still be the only runway in use for arrivals by then? My guess is that in an hour from now they will reopen to 7 again, just in time for the A380. It would be a typical thing for them to do. A photo for you says the A380 is now above the Czech Republic and out an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, rain is falling really close by. Definitely visible. I feel a few droplets, but other than that, it looks still okay. You can also see the rain over there. You can see it fall vertically. However, the wind is coming from this direction where it is more blue. Looking to the north, more blue. So let's keep the camera focused in that direction then. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Milan. This is KLM flight 1620. We'll be touching down after having flown an hour and 24 minutes. This is a brand new airplane, and this time around it is really brand new. First flight was July this year, so it should still smell like new if you're inside. No reversers landing, really quiet. They're quiet on takeoff, they're quiet on landing. Although they do get a little bit more noisy if they do happen to use their reverse thrust. Now, interesting to see the Martin Air 747 on flight radar at 13,000 feet, flying from Amsterdam to Amsterdam. It seems like it is a test flight. Also, interesting to see the 737 arriving from Prague, now flying over the north of Amsterdam. Let's have a look. Meanwhile, departures from 24 continue to take place. Nice cloudy backdrop in the distance. Meanwhile, I'm also looking at what is going on flight radar to the north of Schiphol. Photo for you informing us that runway 27 has reopened again. That was only a short while that it was closed then. Now, there is a Boeing 737-700 at 2,100 feet, arriving from Prague, flying northeast of Amsterdam. I'm looking to see if I can spot it visually. Should be over there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. It is on a short circuit by the looks of it. Oh, I have it. Where is it? There, approximately. There we go. So, short circuit for the 737, arriving from Prague, flying base, KLM flight 1354, arriving from Prague, where it left an hour and 3 minutes ago. This airplane is 13 years old. Its first flight was in January 2010. And there it is, turning final. Now, further up to the north, also coming in from the right, should be another Embraer 190 from LOT, arriving from Warsaw. There it is. And from the other side, a little bit further to the north of the LOT, Embraer 190 is another Embraer 190 from Speedbird from British Airways, arriving from London City. See that? Probably not, probably obscured because of the clouds. So let's first have a look at the landing of the 737 and then see if we can see both Embraer 190s. Right, Embraer 190 arriving from Warsaw, from LOT, and coming in from the left in the distance we should see an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Photo view says 27 closed. Now 18C also open. Okay, so that is at least good news. If the A380 is not coming to our runway, at least it will be coming to a parallel runway and at least it will be decently visible. Both Embraer 190s visible in the same shot right now. Further up north, also coming in from the left, is going to be a 777-300ER arriving from Lima, from Peru. Not sure if we're going to see it appear in the shot already before having to reposition the camera to follow the front Embraer 190. If it hurries up, I think we might see it. Okay, let's zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, there it is. I can see it in the just below the second Embraer 190. 777 arriving from Lima in Peru. Nice visualization of the glide slope again. This is LOT flight 263, Embraer 190 arriving from Warsaw, where it departed an hour and 43 minutes ago. This airplane is 4 years old. First flight was in December 2018. Standard livery. Do get the impression that the wind is slowing down just a little bit, at least where I am standing. So let me have a look and see if maybe going without image stabilizer is doable again. It does allow for more direct camera controls without overshooting up and down. So preferably I try to use it as little as possible. Jordan informing us that the Emirates A380 is expected in just under an hour. In the foreground, Embraer 190, in the background, 777-300ER. The Embraer 190 in the foreground is British Airways flight 84, 89, arriving from London City, operated by BA City Flyer. Now it's always a 35 to 40 minute flight from London City to Amsterdam, and this airplane too is underway now for 37 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old. Its first flight was in January 2011. Right, well, in the meantime, still some rain down the runway, really close by. Over here it is still dry. This is looking up. It is close by, the rain, but this is looking directly in the direction of the wind. I think we should be good still. Triple seven time. Arriving from Lima in Peru. KLM flight 744. Flight time 11 hours and 43 minutes. Another big wheelie from A777 from KLM. It has been the KLM people that have been added today with the wheelies. Both the triples and the Embraers, or at least some of them. Definitely a showboat, Frank. In the meantime, another classic 767-300ER from Icelandair in the old livery with the orange, arriving from Reykjavik, where it departed 2 hours and 36 minutes ago. This is a 23-year-old airplane that had its first flight in August of the year 2000. And hey there, Hannibal Smith, checking in from Germany. Grüße zurück und herzlich willkommen. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. This is AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan. today in use as runway 18 right. I believe it is once again one of two runways used for arrivals. The airplanes are landing to the south. Wind is blowing from the west. And thus far the weather is somewhat showery. Although over here we have been spared thus far. We've seen several showers in the distance, not too far in the distance, in fact. Definitely some rain falling over there. However, we have to look to the west. That is where the wind is blowing from, and it is still looking quite good in that respect. Now, let's have a look. In the distance, turning onto the glide slope is a Delta A330. Delta Airlines Flight 144, arriving from Seattle, Washington State. Let's have a look. Looks like there is a Transavia 737 also coming this way, but still further out. There's also a KLM 737 flying northwest of me. The downwind leg of the traffic pattern. I think I do see it in the distance. Alright, few more droplets are falling in the meantime over here. Some remnants of what is passing by south of me, most likely. Meanwhile, the Transavia 737 is flying towards the glide slope. We should be able to see it somewhere in the distance, coming in the field of view from the left. So it was a bit difficult to estimate where exactly it will appear. So let's keep the Delta in the middle. Let's see where it will appear. Nart says there was a pretty bad cell close to me. If I would have stood at the parking, I would have been wet by now. Undoubtedly, mate. I can see the rain screen, the shower screen, if you look in the direction of the cell. Again, we're dodging bullets here today, and so far we have been lucky. Well, oh, there it is in the bottom. Now in the center, the next airplane. Right, and in the meantime, more airplanes are approaching left and right. So we are going to see more traffic on the glide slope after this airplane has landed. It is gradually getting a bit more busy. This is Delta Airlines Flight 144, arriving from Seattle, Washington State, Airbus A330-300. The flight time at the moment 9 hours and 3 minutes. This airplane is 16 years old. First flight was in October 2006. that it stops the reverses already, because it would have given us some visual cues as to where the rain that fell just now has fallen and where it didn't rain. Because of the spray it would have generated. Can't have it all, but more is coming, so who knows, we might get what we were looking for after all. Marius is informing us that the A380 from Emirates that we are expecting around 1:30 p.m, so in 50 minutes or so, has flown into the German airspace. And PVK Train says the Delta A330s always seem loud landing there. They often do make noise. They do have somewhat of a reputation for doing that. Not sure if that's corporate policy or if they just like to do that or if they always do that. But yes, they do seem to be more noisy on average than, for instance, the KLM A330s. That definitely was something I noticed myself as well. Right, two airplanes visible in the distance. In the foreground we have a Boeing 737-800 from Transavia arriving from Alicante. In the background we have a 737-800 from KLM arriving from Madrid. Now you might also pick up on a siren, which is an ambulance that I'm seeing pass by along the road that is further up. Also looks like first traffic to the center runway is coming in. Looks like an Embraer 175 arriving from Frankfurt that I am seeing visually and also on flight radar. So at the moment, parallel arrivals back in progress, or at least back in progress. I think it's the first time since I began streaming this morning that we are seeing 18C as the secondary runway for arrivals. Earlier it was runway 27. Let me quickly go to the laptop and update the ticker, at least in terms of runway usage then. So 18 right and 18C. Are they also using two runways for departure still? Let's have a look. L, V and L. They do. Okay, well, while I am at it, let me also go to flight radar. Go to the METAR. Copy paste that and update the ticker altogether. Well, let's do the weather later. This is KLM flight 1700 arriving from Madrid, Boeing 737-800, flight time 2 hours precisely, and the airplane is 4 years old. KLM fashion, keep up the speed, vacate late, sooner to the gate. Right. As I was busy just now trying going to update the ticker with the weather. Paste and adjust font size. So wind is 11 knots from 280 degrees, as you guys can see in the ticker in a moment. Over here, KLM flight 622, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight time 7 hours and 13 minutes. Boeing 777-300ER, 11 years old, first flight May 2012. Hey there, Dave van Kats, goeiedag. Seth Aviation, good afternoon mate. Seth is at the Polderbaan as well, can actually see me streaming. Well, nice going here mate. The next airplane we are expecting is Vueling flight 8353, Airbus A320. And there's also a big bird behind it, it seems like. A 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil in Ecuador. Right, so Vueling flight 8353 arriving from Valencia, Airbus A320. Flight time 2 hours and 10 minutes. This airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in May 2008. Triple 7-200 time. This is KLM flight 755 arriving from Guayaquil in Ecuador. This is a 777-200ER that is underway now for 11 hours and 14 minutes. The airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in September 2003 already. Nearly 20 years old. Next month it is celebrating its 20th birthday. Further up to the top left we can see the next airplane approaching, and that would be a TUI Dreamliner by the looks of it, arriving from Bonaire. Nice to see that at least today they are going to Polderbaan. Cell is moving further to the east in the meantime. Looking to the south, beautiful clouds visible in the distance. Over here we get some more blue even, looking to the southwest. Looking to the west directly. Wind is west to west northwestish, so this is approximately where the wind is coming from and where the weather is coming from. Looks awesome. Also the beautiful cloud formations in the distance, look at that. Beautifully illuminated. Lovely to see once again, beautiful day over here. The next airplane also coming in from the north, TUI Dreamliner. And in the meantime, thank you so much Arnoud for a thumbs up super sticker. Thank you so much my friend, I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Me myself says no more rain to come, that would be very nice indeed. Keep it dry until the A380 has landed. Now realistically speaking, chances are quite significant that it is going to land on the center runway. The upshot is that we are able to see it from over here relatively well, if that is the case. Worst case would be if it were to land on runway 27. This is TUI flight 703 arriving from Bonaire. 9-hour flight and 5 minutes. Right. In the meantime, the Play airplane just left from runway 24, already climbing and above 10,000 feet back to Reykjavik. So they definitely did not stay on the ground too long. Jim Jackson was at the Spottersplatz near McDonald's an hour ago. Well, that was a good option back then, because then at least we also had landing traffic on it. Now they have closed it again, and the center runway is used as secondary runway for arrivals. There are 3 airplanes, no 2 airplanes are coming this way. In the foreground we have a Vueling A320 arriving from Alicante. Behind it is an A321 Neo arriving from Toronto, which is from Air Transat, the other operator that flies transatlantic in a narrow body. Of course, you can also fly transatlantic with Icelandair, but you will get a pit stop in the middle, I think. Right, the sun is coming out. Time to open the zipper of my parka. First time since a while that I have it on again. Full-fledged winter coat. Today's high would not be higher than 20 C or about 70 F. Particularly when it is raining, or if rain is nearby, it can be a few degrees colder even. Combine that with the fact that you are exposed to wind non-stop out here in the field. I figure maybe a vest or a hoodie would be a little bit too cold. Little bit of a sticker on the front of that airplane. It did not say anything about it on flight radar, but it looked like there was a sticker on the front. Right, so in a little over half an hour we are expecting the Emirates A380, and if I'm not mistaken, there was also a 747 expected just before then. The next airplane is the A321 Neo from Air Transat. Flight 376 arriving from Toronto, Canada. Flight time 6 hours and 40 minutes. The airplane is brand new. In fact, really brand new. First flight was in August of 2023, so this airplane just rolled off the factory belt. Wind is picking up again a little. I can tell that the footage is getting a little bit more shaky again, so I think it is time to re-enable image stabilizer once again. The alert is informing us that it is Cathay Pacific Cargo, in fact, that is underway and is expected to land in approximately 25 minutes. So thank you for keeping us updated about all those things, Yillard. Means that 2 quads are still expected in the next half hour or so. The Emirates A388 was expected to land today around 1:30 p.m. I'm going to stick around until both the quad jets have landed, regardless of the runway they will be landing on. So if they are going to land on center, this is what we can see of it. It is not optimal, but it is way better than if it were landing on runway 27. At least here you can also see the rollout. Right, let's have a look on flight radar. Several airplanes are approaching from the north, though will take a little while for the next airplane to Polderbound to arrive. I'm also looking to my left, or right I should say now, to the west. I see a 767-400 from United that has taken off. I was wondering if maybe I could see it from over here, but you really need to know where exactly to look for. If it is so far away, I'm not seeing anything, so let's just give up on that. In terms of activity in the water, we did see the ducks earlier, but now it is all quiet again. The next airplane to arrive is going to the center runway, London Gatwick to Amsterdam. Interesting that an airplane arriving from London Gatwick is going to center, so I'm wondering if maybe they are also inspecting the runway then. Not sure. Not seeing any yellow vehicles with their flashlights on. Hey there, Grace Kelly. Good to see you again. I am doing well, thank you for asking. Hope the same goes for you. I think we have a lucky guardian angel watching over us, keeping us dry today, with showers left and right, but never substantially over us. Not sure though about tomorrow. I did already have a look at the weather for tomorrow, and it is very much looking like a day with precipitation the majority of the day. I think the morning will be out regardless, and possibly the PM will also be still wet. So I'm not too sure yet if I am going to be able to go out tomorrow for a live stream. Obviously I will be keeping an eye out, and if I think I can, I will, but I think tomorrow is going to be the worst day of the upcoming weekend, up to and including Monday. It's the day I'm least certain of that I will be able to stream. In the meantime, our next airplane is coming over. Air France A319, flight 1640. Flight time 43 minutes. We still have that crosswind from the west, making for crabby approaches to the glide slope. Okay, so center closed and 27 opened. Will they make up their minds? So this is then probably the last airplane going to center. TUI, Global X, hybrid livery. Mostly Global X with a little bit of TUI logos here and there. Well, I'm still seeing air traffic going to center. Still two more are on the glide slope. And the third one might also be entering. So for the time being, it seems like there are still parallel arrivals in progress. Let's have a look. Well, if they are going to close center, then we might get to see quite a few heavies that are approaching from the east, including a Saudia Dreamliner and a 777 from China Cargo Airlines. But it still very much looks like they are keeping both the north-south runways open, looking at flight radar. Now, seems that the next airplane for Polderbaan is further up north, turning onto the glide slope. Not sure if we can see it from over here. A321 Neo from Top Air Portugal, or is that going to... No, it does look like it is turning onto the glide slope for our runway. Just so far to the north that we are not able to see it just yet. So in the meantime, let's have a look at traffic that is visible a bit better. And that would be an Embraer 175 arriving from Billund, KLM flight 1344, going to center. Flight time 47 minutes. This airplane is 6 years old. Its first flight was in January 2017. Right, the next airplane to the Polderbaan has become visible in the north in the meantime. Still a bit further out. It is Top Air Portugal arriving from Lisbon. Flight 674 A321 Neo. Departed from Lisbon 2 hours and 23 minutes ago. The airplane is a year old. First flight was in March 2022. Looks like the next airplane behind it is an Embraer 170 arriving from Marseille. Although, not sure. Oh yeah, there it is, I think. Yeah, to the far left, just about visible. So at the moment we have parallel arrivals taking place. Polderbaan, runway 18 right and also 18 center is open. Crosswind from the west, still very much present. Right, next up is an Embraer 170 and behind it should be an Embraer 190. Still quite windy, as you guys can see. Wind is blowing from the west. These airplanes are landing to the south, so there's crosswind from the right at the moment for the airplanes, which is why they are looking towards us while gliding to the right of us. In the meantime, also approaching for center is a 787-10 Dreamliner from Saudia arriving from Jeddah. It looks like a 777 will also be going to the center runway as it is arriving from the east. And you know that there is no way that they are going to close the center runway between now and, let's say, 20 minutes from now. So you can count on seeing the Emirates A380 from a distance, unfortunately, today. Once again. Although, of course, I would love to be wrong today. Here we have the Saudia Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah, going to center, 787-10 Dreamliner. Nicely illuminated by the sun. Air France op, touching down. Embraer 170 arriving from Marseille. Embraer 190 arriving from Nantes in France, KLM flight 1456, where it left an hour and 8 minutes ago from. The airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in December 2013. Oh boy, the wind is really playing with the camera. This would be China Cargo Airlines flight 205 arriving from Shanghai. It is a 777 freighter, underway now for 10 hours and 42 minutes, and the airplane is a year old. Its first flight was in April of 2022. Right, Jordan says that the A380 is in Dutch airspace now. That is good news. 747 Martinair will land only a few minutes behind the Emirates. So that is all good news. Let's have a look. Where are they? Right, well, it's all inbound from the east, so that does not bode well in terms of airplanes coming to our runway. I do see a little... Oh, I do see two airplanes without a contrail. Flying from west to east, north of me, and already east of me. Just a lucky shot there that I not only saw it but also was able to point the camera towards it relatively easily. Again, not a lot of humidity in the upper atmospheres, it seems like. Haven't seen any contrails in the patches of blue that have been around since I began streaming. We're waiting for traffic to come to Polderbaan. At the moment, most of the traffic is going to the center runway just because a lot of it is coming from the east. There is an A320 arriving from Manchester though. Further up north we should, in theory, see an Embraer 175 arriving from Stavanger, turning onto the glide slope from the west. That is from the left. Though I am not seeing it at the moment. So this would be EasyJet flight 22163. Arriving from Manchester, Airbus A320. Flight time 48 minutes. The airplane is 10 years old. Its first flight was in May 2013. E2 Embraer 195 parallel landing to center, arriving from Zurich. Right, where is the A380? In the vicinity of Kampen. Where's the 747? Still in the vicinity of Asse. Okay, so these are quite far away. There is an Embraer 190 coming in on the downwind leg. In fact, there are two airplanes coming in over the North Sea. Not seeing them just yet. So in the meantime, more traffic to center, 737-800 arriving from Stockholm. This is KLM flight 1108. Left Stockholm an hour and 37 minutes ago. The airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in March 2014. In the meantime, we will have to wait for more traffic. It seems that there are two airplanes coming in from the west, flying to the north still. Hey, also Aeromexico is approaching, but it is still very high. Meanwhile, Turkish A330 has turned onto the glide slope on runway center. We'll be following this airplane. Another Embraer 175 arriving from Stavanger. Interesting to see that those are now also being directed to the center runway. Apologies for the footage going back and forth so often. That is the effect of the wind on the camera. You cannot fully mitigate that using image stabilizer, unfortunately. So it does look like we are going to see the Aeromexico Dreamliner in a few minutes. It is descending. Hopefully they are not sending it to center as well. It is in the standard livery by the looks of it. In the meantime, the Turkish A330 is approaching. Turkish Airlines flight 1957 arriving from Istanbul. Flight time 2 hours and 53 minutes. The airplane is 8 years old. Its first flight was in June 2015. Right, so there are two 747s approaching and the A380 is approaching. It seems that the 747-800 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle is at least coming to this runway. I'm not too sure about the other airplanes. I think they are going to go to center. It is getting a bit busy in that respect, checking out which airplane is going to what runway. Okay. At least we are going to see some more traffic over here again. Where is that Martin Air 747, guys? I'm not seeing it immediately on flight radar. Above Heerenveen, but it's at 10,000 feet stably. That's probably still, they're probably still doing some testing by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Two airplanes visible for the Polderbaan in the meantime. In the foreground we have an Embraer 190 arriving from Turin. In the background we have an E2 Embraer 195 that is arriving from Toulouse. Mexico is turning onto the glide slope for the Polderbaan further north. Not seeing it just yet. Hopefully after the Embraer 190 has landed we can see it. Right. Aeromexico also visible. In the foreground we have E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Toulouse, KLM flight 1302, flight time 1.5 hours, a 1-year-old airplane, first flight October 2021. Behind it is an Aeromexico Dreamliner, Aeromexico flight 25, arriving from Mexico City, flight time nearly 10 hours, Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, 9 years old, first flight February 2014. In the meantime, we are also seeing a 747 flying to the north, just west of me. I think I can see it already. I think it is over there. And to make it more busy, almost near the glide slope for center is the Emirates A388. Now the Emirates A380 is looking like going to the center runway once again. So we'll only be able to see it from a distance. Although, as you guys could see earlier already, the camera I'm using is decent in zooming in, with around 600 millimeters of full frame equivalent of zoom. So we are able to see at least something. Aero Mexico Flight 25 is in the distance, and a Ryanair 737 will be following first. Now, also turning onto the glide slope further north is the Emirates A380. I'm visually looking to see if I can spot something already. Not sure if that is it. I do see something. No, not yet. Let's keep the camera focused on the Aero Mexico Dreamliner Boeing 7878, arrival from Mexico City, 10 hours and 2 minutes of flight time under its belt already. This airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in February 2014. PVK train says 747 will land Polder. That is not good news. Are you sure? Is it not going to Polder, Ron? Oh, 747 will land Polder. Yeah, of course. That is exactly what we're seeing now. So in the foreground we have a Ryanair 737 arrival from Dublin. In the background we have a 747-800 arrival from Paris Charles de Gaulle, Cathay Pacific Cargo Flight 2014. And parallel to that 747 is the Emirates A380. Well, it is a bit closer by. It is visible already in the meantime. There it is. Emirates Flight 147 in the standard livery today. The old standard livery. Number 6 worldwide most tracked. Airbus A380-800 arrived from Dubai, where it left 6 hours and 22 minutes ago. The airplane is 13 years old. Its first flight was in April 2010. It is an old standard livery, as Anna is already showing. Members of the channel have access to the latest iteration of the livery, the ribbon tail. So we're forgoing the landing of the Ryanair 737. However, I am going to turn around the camera for a 747 of Cathay Pacific Cargo. Don't want to miss that in favor of just this airplane. Right, I am going to assume... Yes, it has touched down. Back to more action. Cathay Pacific Cargo, flight 2014, Boeing 747-800 freighter. Short flight, 44 minutes. It is arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. This airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in November 2013. And a beautiful crabbing queen. Right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think this was the last airplane of the day. We saw the 747, we saw the Emirates A380. We've kept it dry all the while. Just a few droplets from nearby rain showers, so that is all good. Meantime, the Cathay Pacific Cargo 747 is going back to the cargo area of the platform, which is adjacent to runway 0624 on both sides. It means that this airplane still has a significant taxi ahead of it. The Ryanair 737 preceding it. Still 10 to 15 minutes of taxi, at least. I am going to call it a day for today. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I've had a blast and I hope you guys did too. I'm not sure yet if I am going to be able to go out tomorrow because of the weather. At least in the morning it looks like it is going to rain. I'm not sure about the afternoon, and maybe when I'm looking tonight the morning is going to be dry and I might still be able to go out tomorrow after all. I'll keep you guys posted. If not tomorrow, then I'm looking to go out again on Saturday, but I'm hoping tomorrow will still allow me to go out. Hope to see you then. If not, hope to see you later in the weekend. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Thanks to everybody who was so kind to donate super stickers, super chats, super likes, donate through PayPal, become a member, donate memberships, or buy something from the merch store. You guys are the best. Your support means everything to me, and you guys, without you guys, this channel wouldn't be what it is already today, and we've only just begun. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. I'm gonna say bye for now. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and hope to see you again soon. So long, guys.